Hello, and welcome back to the Making Fire podcast. This is a podcast where two longtime besties talk about their favorite TV show, Survivor. This week we'll be covering episode 3 of Survivor season 48. So exciting. What an episode. But before we get into that, Riley, how are you?
What was that tone about?
I well, it was a
What an
crazy episode.
episode. Ooh. I'm doing really, really well, you guys. Everything is going great. Today I wanted to talk about an eating establishment that I've recently favored. I recently went to and I'm like, oh my god, I'm kind of obsessed with it. I wish there was one closer to me. That being Jersey Mike's.
Oh, okay. I've actually never been.
I've been a couple times, but my mom and I went twice last month, which is crazy because there's not one near us. The nearest one is about 30 minutes away, so it is out of the way. Like, and it's not the type of place to be like, let's go get Jersey Mike's and then come home. Like, we just had like errands in the area anyway. So good. It's just a fun little sandwich. I love that. I love a good sandwich.
Hmm.
But for me, like I have a Panera close to me, but sometimes Panera just does not hit the way that it needs to hit.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's too expensive. Like I'm like I don't want
For tiny portions.
right. And primary reason I'm loving Jersey Mike's right now is because they have a chicken cheesesteak option, and I don't eat beef, everybody, and I don't eat Philly cheesesteaks, and that's sort of the one thing that I consistently crave. Like probably a year after I stopped eating beef was the one thing that I was like, I want so bad is a Philly cheesesteak.
Hmm.
But lots of places have chicken cheesesteak. That's not true. Oh, not a lot of places is what I meant to say. Have a chicken cheesesteak. We'll do it like a Philly cheesesteak. And so Jersey Mike's does a chicken cheesesteak. It's so delicious. And my mom likes it. My mom has a lot of issues. Um, she she's
Frankly.
she's not a picky eater, but there's just things, as you age, your diet changes, and there's just things that are better for her and things that are not better for her. And Jersey Mike's has good options for her, which is great. And so we were able to go get a sandwich, and it's a nice size sandwich. You can get like a giant option, which is like maybe it would be like a foot long at Subway, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe the regular is like a little more than like a 6 inch. Anyway, it's really good. The portions are good. Um, the food tastes great. And not I don't think it's as expensive as Panera. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say, oh, there's this TikToker I like to follow. Jordan Lufus, I think is her last name. She is I don't follow a lot of straight people, but she's sort of my straight icon. Her and her husband Brandon, I'm obsessed with them, and they love Jersey Mike's, and they get the giant sandwich because they get the same sandwich, and it's split it because it's cheaper for them to get a one giant than two regulars. And I'm
Mm.
just like, they make it look so good, and then I got it, and it is so good. So I highly recommend Jersey Mike's. Anybody that wants a sandwich and never had it, go get a Jersey Mike's. It's really good.
Thank you for that recommendation.
You're
The
so
only
welcome,
other like Subway adjacent place I've tried
Jimmy
is
John's.
Firehouse Subs.
So interesting. I went to New York in October and we had Firehouse Subs in the airport on the way home. And that's probably not the best sort of representation of what Firehouse Subs has to offer, but I was a little, one might say, underwhelmed.
I was actually really upset when I
Okay,
got it
I love that. I mean, don't love
because
that, but like I'm glad our experiences are sort of on the same wavelength.
like I literally will not go there again, I think. Because and which is
Wow.
upsetting because I feel like they do a lot of good things. I
Right.
They support the firefighters.
Right.
However, I got a sandwich to go. This was like a couple months ago, and I got on my sandwich, I think like some sort of onion thing, and I think they made my sandwich completely soggy. I think that's what did it. But I like can't even talk about it. I took one bite into it before I noticed the entire bottom of the bread literally sopping wet.
Yeah.
Like disgusting. I remember I got it on a
Lord.
day that I wasn't feeling very good too, and I was just like, I just want like a sandwich. I had had it once before, like a friend got it for me, and it was fine. And I was like, oh, I want to try it like with me getting it this time. And it was such a terrible experience. Like, I remember I looked at Logan, and Logan, I don't remember where he got lunch. It was not Firehouse Subs. We just like grabbed both. And I was like, I should have just got what you got. Like, this is so upsetting. And now I'm hungry. Because now, guess what? I can only eat like the top portion of the bread.
That's the
and everything
worst.
below the onions you could not eat them. So I unfortunately will not go back there. Say what you want about Subway, but they do have really good deals a lot of the times. I get their coupons in the mail, and Logan and I can get both of us. I think it's like 2 footlongs for like $7, I want to say. And they also do like footlong like meal deals that are really cheap, and then you can just get like another little sandwich for someone, like for one of us. We don't do it often, but also random at this Subway that we go to, every single time I have gone in there, they compliment my name. And it's been different employees.
Your
I even
name?
told my name. They're like, "Oh, what's the order for?" And I say Madeline, and they say, "Oh my god, I love your name." And one was like, "I literally wanted to name my daughter that." Like multiple different employees. I even told my mom about it one time. I was like, "You and these Subway employees have the same name.
The same wavelength.
Yeah." So
We had a TikTok about Subway. We had a clip that we posted about Subway. I can't remember what the context of that was.
did you call them what do you call
Sandwich
them?
artisans?
I think it was maybe a joke about that. I don't remember.
Y'all check out our TikTok and our Instagram.
Yeah,
Popping off
it
over
is
there.
popping off.
If any of those viewers from those would love to sort of hop over to the YouTube, that'd be amazing.
Right. So yeah,
How are you doing?
I'm good. Oh, the one thing I want to talk about this week is my hair again. Shout out Riley got a haircut. It looks so fun and fresh.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I wanted to talk about my bangs really quick. Thank you for the all the DMs and messages that I got regarding them, and appreciating them. I also do love them. But I wanted to just give a cautionary tale to people who are maybe in the market for bangs. So about a week ago, I was like, why am I sort of breaking out on the sides of my forehead and top of my cheeks? I was like, what could that possibly be from? Put it together. Yeah, that's going to go ahead and be directly where my bangs sit. But guess what? I'm not coming here just to complain, because I have solutions.
Look at you, problem
this-
solver.
We are a week out now, and it has solved the problem. I realized, you know what? I don't need to be wearing my bangs down on my face at all hours. I can sort of, when I'm not doing anything, just pin them back. Little hair clip. I think the number one thing, I don't need to sleep with them down. Every night now, either a nice fabric headband that doesn't like give me a headache, or also just pinning them back. Guess what? It has solved the problem now that I'm not like sleeping directly on my hair. And I just also wanted to give a shout out. I don't know anyone that has like straight across forehead bangs at the moment, but you are the strongest soldiers. How do you do that? Because I feel like, how do you make that? I mean, you kind of do, but like, like the bubble
You're like,
ones,
yeah,
like down. I don't know, like, you know what I mean? I guess you do, but it like sits higher on you.
right.
But like people who have their entire sort of forehead covered, like going down to their eyebrows, I'm like, how are you like? Drop your skincare routine down below.
I mean, I'm always breaking out on my
I guess
forehead.
you do have. Yeah, I guess you do have longer hair than it looks.
Yeah, I always am breaking. I'm consistently breaking out my forehead, so. Which
Maybe
is
the
weird.
bangs just like cover it though.
It does, yeah. I never really broke out in high school. It wasn't really until I started college that I started breaking out a lot. So, I think.
And you know what? I found that to be common for a lot of other people that I talk to. I was the opposite. I think I had a lot worse skin in high school, but now I've been doing pretty well. So when all of a sudden I have acne and directly the line of my bangs, I was like, oh, this actually isn't working for me. And then I was like, oh my God, am I stuck with these bangs for however long it takes to grow them out? No, it's actually fine.
Love that.
So
The
yeah.
TikTok I was talking about? She not recently. I think she did it over the summer, but she also cut her hair. She got bangs like yours. So
They are so fun. I 10 out of 10 recommend them. And they're really not as much work as I thought they would be. So, anyways, don't be afraid to pin them back though. They don't need to be cute all the time. That is what I'm learning. But let's just get into this episode.
I'm so excited.
Speaking of bangs, Mary and her little bangs
Live
are
for
just
them.
living.
We should reach out to Mary, get her on the. Maybe that should be our cameo question this season. We get a cameo from Mary and ask her for her bang care routine.
I also, at first, I didn't really have any thoughts about the bangs at first, other than like, oh, she has cute little bangs. But then I was thinking, I wouldn't want bangs any longer than those on Survivor. Like, could you imagine going in there with sort of like perfect bangs, and you're like, watching them grow out? Oh, I did have one other thing. Have you been watching Amazing Race?
I have not.
Oh, you should. It's
The
been
last time I really like watched it was when we watched that season together. Over the pandemic, that was because everybody's pandemic show was like Survivor or Big Brother, but I've already seen both of those. So I was like, I need to watch a reality show. It was The Amazing Race. And I watched like the first half of the series. And early Amazing Race, there's nothing like it. It's really great TV. But then I sort of stopped. But I'm hearing good things. There's rumors that season 38 of Amazing Race is going to be an all Big Brother cast.
Is that next season?
I think.
I don't know what season.
I think they're casting for it right now. I originally thought not the rumor because it was announced. I originally thought it was announced that it was just going to be one couple was going to be a Big Brother couple, or like one pair was going to be someone for Big Brother. But it sounds like I'm not 100% sure, but all of the cast is going to be like one person from Big Brother and then a significant other or like a partner.
I was going to say, get Danielle and Brittany back out there.
Honestly, that would be kind of amazing.
But no, I started watching
He's a 2 or 3 time Amazing Race player. I think she's played twice.
Who?
Brittany.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think at least once, but maybe twice. They did a CBS season, and she was on that with Janelle, who was on season 2 of The Traitors. Her and Janelle played together.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Well, the season has been fun. I've been watching it just directly after Survivor because it's still on, and it's been really fun. It was really fun. They were in Japan last week, and it was a great episode.
Love that.
So, anyways, but let's get into Survivor. What an episode.
What did you feel about it?
Expect the unexpected.
I loved it. Was so messy. The last 20, I knew something juicy was going to happen, and I said, I'm not even going to look at how much time I have left on this episode because I don't want to spoil what's about to happen. So I put my phone down, the pleasure of not having to take notes this episode, and I just watched, and I was like, I'm just going to wait to see what happens, and I was pleasantly surprised. It was so good.
It was so good. We'll get to all the major details, but overall...
The dirty details.
What an episode. The dirty details. But let's start. We open on Vula coming back to camp after voting Kevin out. Gone too soon. And Mary is happy to live to see another day. She's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Cedric pulls her aside and is like, I don't want you to feel like you're out on a limb. And she's like, no, I fully am. But that's fine. But let's not pretend that I'm not on the bottom, the odd one out here. And Say tells the group that she has lost trust in her alliance, and she shouldn't have had to use her idol at all. And then in a confessional, she's like, I'm going to spend all day tomorrow looking for the new idol. I don't care if they see what I'm doing.
I'll wait until we stop talking about the idol hunt, but I agree. They put her in a bad situation. And I don't think Say is the type of player that you want to get on her bad side. You don't want to make her look like a fool.
No, which, will come up again later in this episode. So, anyways, at Siva, they're all talking about feeling like skinny queens right now, after not eating for a few days, really. And Camilla says that David / Superman, every time I can't remember his name, I write Superman, because that's what I think of, is giving Chad in internet slang. And we also get a lot of David talking about sort of, why he's on Survivor and his backstory. What are you thinking?
Okay, well, first of all, I live for the fact that David was like, I live in my dad's trailer, and Kyle was like, oh, that's so cool. And David was like, that's not cool.
No.
I live in a trailer in my dad's yard or whatever. But I mean, the way that David said it, it seemed like he was he was setting Kyle up to be like, yeah, that's cool info. Like, I
Yeah.
understand why Kyle said that. Because what, you don't want, what, you, I would rather somebody said, no, it's not that cool than me being like, that's shitty. And someone to be like,
Why?
I really like that.
Like, why did you say that?
Yeah, I'd rather the opposite happen. Me think that it's a cool situation, and then somebody be like, it's not cool. A lot of people live in like trailers or mobile homes or manufactured home communities, as I familiarized myself. A lot of people do, and it's like a lot of people's preferred choice of living, just like expense wise.
And you can buy a really nice one.
Right. No, this whole scene, I was like, I don't know.
It was kind of just sad. I mean, he's
It
talking about how,
was.
like, his financial struggles and how if he doesn't win the million, his girlfriend's gonna break up with him because she wants a family and he can't support that.
So I saw him. He posted a tweet. He tweeted today, that he was like, I need everybody to know that's like up in my comments, up in my DMs right now that I am trying to fade away from stunt work. Like it's not my preferred work of choice. I'm trying to
Oh.
become. He's trying to become a pilot at the moment. That is sort of hopefully going to be more financially stable for him.
Uh-huh.
Um, but it was interesting. I had a hard time watching it. I was just like, oh, this isn't fun at all. Like this is actually very sad.
Right, I don't
I
know.
feel sad for you.
I don't know that I would have wanted all of that included.
Yeah, I don't know, especially like the details of his relationship. Like I don't know. And it's interesting because she never or he I guess we don't really actually hear names of significant others on Survivor very often. Um but like, if I felt like we weren't getting the whole story. I don't know.
I
Does that
feel
make
like it
sense?
would have been different if he was just like, I'm out here because I want to win the money so I can provide
Right.
for and be able to start a family.
Right.
And like that's not an uncommon thing.
No.
And I don't feel like that's giving too much personal details away.
No, but I feel like going into the specifics of like, oh, I'm going to like
I just think if I was the girlfriend and I have my boyfriend
yeah,
on
like
Survivor saying
I
that
wouldn't
I'm gonna leave him if he doesn't
I
win,
wouldn't
I'd be
want
like,
all of that.
let's not say that. That's
No.
maybe
I'm like, why are we sharing your tea? Like, how is that going to help you? If anything, I would argue that makes it worse for you in the game because people are going to be like, if David gets to the end, he has the story about how much he needs the money, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. I'm really trying right now, y'all.
Anyways, I'll continue.
That mark on my hand means that I'm a werewolf. Oh no, it means I'm a vampire because there's no connection to the.
Oh
Did you ever do that in school?
no.
If it connected right here, you were a werewolf, but since it's just a V, I'm a vampire.
Oh, okay. Well, at law. Thank you for sharing. Do you want me to cut that out, or was that too personal?
No, you can keep that in for the editors. You can keep that'll be me. That's me. In Survivor, they're like, "What's going on in the game?" I'm like, "I don't know, but I'm waiting for my vampire instincts to kick in."
I need that $1 million so I can go to vampire school.
Right.
You know what it's giving? The video of the like high schoolers competing for like $5,000 or something, and then the girl on there, Nina.
Nina, just vote, just vote. I know I'm going home, so just vote.
Well, like, all the other people have like going through a lot, like really need the money, and then she's like, I want to go to the Bahamas so I can go on this like ocean trip, and they're like, right.
Right.
Anyways.
I really live for that video. I really live for just vote, just
Just
vote,
I know
just
I'm gonna
vote,
be out, so just vote.
just vote.
Okay, at Loggy, people are feeling down and hungry and tired, but to boost morale, Joe, who is he the fire captain or the fire lieutenant? I'm not really sure.
I think he's a captain.
Okay, I wrote captain.
I'll look into that.
Joe, the fire captain, builds this giant bonfire for everyone to enjoy, and we also get a confessional from Shaheen,
Captain.
Shaheen, who breaks down the relationship of the California Girls Alliance and how basically everyone is connected to them but Star, who is still looking for the scroll code. And it really made me sad, like, watching them at this bonfire and sort of all of them enjoying it, but Star is nowhere to be seen.
I want Star. Get Star on the pod. Like,
Yes.
I want to be your BFF, Star. Like, I want to key with you. I want to talk.
I want to hear, what were you up to, like, while this was sort of happening? Like, I'm assuming looking for the idol code stuff, but, like, what was going through your head when you
Can I make a comment about this bonfire?
Yeah.
Okay, back to this question of continuity for future seasons. I'm like, doing a major bonfire like that, like, that's gonna create problems on the beach, I feel like. And then, like, I just feel like we need to mix up locations. Like, I don't know why, I'm stressing out in a way I've never have before about, like, people have to come back to this beach.
Yeah. And
Like,
these people are really, they've moved in.
They've moved in. They're carving on trees. They're cutting everything down.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happens for next season when the girls move in and there's nothing? There's no resources.
Survivor's gonna have to rework their contract with the Fijian government
Right.
on which islands they can inhabit
Right.
while shooting Survivor. And okay, at this bonfire, Eva gives this little gift that she made to Joe, and what is his name? Oh yeah, to Joe, and Thomas and Shaheen make this look at each other like, uh-huh. And we hear from Thomas in a confessional about how Joe's sidekick Eva needs to go fast because they are such an obvious duo. Which, anything to save my girl Star.
I'm so happy that we have mean gay people back on Survivor. Thomas is giving me the one-liners. It's just giving very Courtney Yates is what it's giving.
Yes.
Like,
what were you gonna say?
No, you go.
I want to see them go after Eva because I'm like, I want to see Joe put his money where his mouth is.
No,
like,
literally,
what are you willing to do to keep Eva in the game?
Will you throw away your game? It's giving Mike energy. Mike talked a big game, but he never like showed up where he needed to show up. Exactly. So I'd be interested at this early point in the game. Could I understand? I don't know. Like, early in the game or later in the game, I don't know at what point would make the most sense. To like early in the game, well, you guys haven't had the depth. Like, their game relationship hasn't been tested at all yet.
No.
So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if he flips, when will it happen?
Exactly. Well, next morning we go back to Vula, and Mary is up early to look for the new planted idol, and I love that she's like, I hate looking for stuff. Like, anyone in real life knows I hate looking for things. Like, I'll find it later. And I was like, that's giving me, because I lose my phone every 5 seconds. And I'm always like, well, I'll find it. Like, it'll come back. And then Say gets up and is looking for the idol and asks Mary if they could go look together so she can keep an eye on Mary. And then Say just really does not want Mary to be alone looking and being able to look for this idol and not knowing what she has. So then at some point, Say goes back to the shelter and tells the boys, get up, wake up. We have to babysit her. And while Say is waking the boys up, Mary notices that Say is preoccupied, takes off running. And Say's like, oh, she's running. So
too good. My favorite, there's a clip around of like when that happens, when they're walking together and Mary just bolts. Yes. And I'm like, it's too funny, like her just running away for not no reason, but it's quite funny. It's
so funny. It's like, oh yeah, we're walking together, bye. I just love it. I love like how chaotic it looks. And yeah, Say just like keeps trying to catch up to her, and Mary just keeps going, and she's like, Mary, I see you. But I love Mary.
It's kind of scary. Like, that would actually kind of scare me if I had somebody, I see you.
Oh, I know. As you're like in the jungle.
Literally.
Yeah. This Mary, I love Mary.
Not to jump all the way to tribal, but I'm a Mary and Say. I love them both so much, and I'm so glad that both of them are still here next week. I think Say is in the right. I think they're both right. I mean, obviously Mary looking for the idol, but Say looking as well. Say is just Cedric and Justin, R.I.P. Justin Pizza, their brains are just not in it where it needs to be. Because Say is 100% right. Why Justin and Cedric specifically set up Lost Round in a way to flush Say's idol. Like, that was
Yeah.
sort of the point of that vote, was they wanted to flush Say's idol so they would be able to get their hands on it. Honestly, that was Kevin's plan. Kevin was the one that originated that plan, was to get Say out to get rid of her idol. Either flush it or vote her out.
Kevin, out of those 3 guys, was really the one who was the most interested in getting an idol.
Right. And so for them to instead vote Kevin out and then not fall through after Say had played the idol is dumb. Because ultimately for Cedric has said that he doesn't trust Mary. He doesn't trust...
I'm not understanding why.
He just doesn't trust Mary as much as he trusts Say or Justin.
Well, there's no... I'm not understanding that.
And so what I don't understand is that you have a very... I don't know if it's a 100%... I don't know if I'd use the words distrust, but you're not working with Mary.
Yeah.
Why would you let Mary, who is very clearly on the bottom of your guys' tribe... Why would you let her run amok in the woods?
And at the very least, why would you not be running around in the woods looking
knowing
for the idol?
that it's out there?
If
Like,
not,
you know for
if
a
Mary doesn't
fact
get it,
it's
why
out
don't
there.
you try and get it?
Exactly.
There are 3 of you
and
one of her. So
It
why don't
should-
you guys go look for the idol? Like, Cedric is he is so just not interested in watching what Mary's doing or caring at all about, like, what Say is doing either. But it's like, why don't you care about yourself then? Like, go look
Right.
for yourself and don't tell them if you get it.
Right. And Say obviously has a certain presence, I would assume, to other people. But I'm like, she's never... Loki, she's very little... Is she wrong
Yeah.
about things? Is she wrong maybe about her approach to things? You could argue yes. But very rarely am I hearing what she has to say, and I'm like, girl, what are you talking about?
But I agree with that. I also don't think it would be hard to pull something over on Say. She seems...
We see it this episode. If you two could have had hold on to the idol, like, imagine what could have happened.
Yeah.
The
Like,
change in...
I mean, really, those 2 had the power. Because Mary would do anything to want to stay in the game, really.
Right.
Especially to get Say out. Those 2, and, like, obviously Say and Mary weren't going to work with each other. Why didn't they just team up and were like, okay, we get to decide how this happens? Like,
Right.
It makes no sense. So, anyways. At Siva, they're doing laundry, eating good, having a nice shelter, and seem to be doing well. Mitch and Charity are forming their solid alliance. They're each other's number 1s. And they also talk about, if they go to Tribal, they're able to bring Kyle in and Dave in and have the majority. Then Kyle and Mitch take the boat out, tip it, while doing so.
That's my winner pick right there. That's my winner pick.
Yes. But they want to talk strategy. And we hear from Kyle in a confessional talking about how he's in the perfect place being on both the alliances and the tribe. Like, he has a lot of power and should be able to have a lot of agency. So good for him.
Good for me. I'm
Good for
hoping
you.
I hope he's going to last a while. I think the problem, well, I guess Kyle has Camilla, but I was going to say for, like, Shaheen, a similar, I think he's in a similar, they're both in similar positions.
Mm-hmm.
But at least Kyle has a number 1 ally, somebody that he can confide in, where I feel like Shaheen does not
Yeah.
necessarily. Like, the 2 people he's closest to have other people that they are probably closer to.
I'm definitely your best friend.
Definitely your best friend.
Exactly. Well, back at Loggy, Eva wants to connect with Star, sort of. So Eva is aware of the Beware advantage that Star has and decides to sort of ask Star about it. Like, hey, do you have anything? And Star's like, nope, I don't have anything. So
I think this
keep
was
looking.
Okay, I don't think the rest of this conversation goes as well for Eva, but I do think
Yeah.
Eva does admit that because she's on the spectrum, she has a hard time um picking out lies. Like if she doesn't know if somebody's lying to her, like she just has a hard time deciphering that.
Mhm.
So I do think this was a really good way to use what she knows as a way to root herself down and see if um not if Star is lying.
Yeah.
Um that part I was like, okay, I get what you're doing. That works great.
But also, why would Star tell you the truth?
You guys have no working relationship.
And actively Star does not like you because of comments that you made that you
Right.
probably don't even realize that you made.
Right. And the rest of the conversation, you're about to talk about throwing Bianca under the bus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The puzzlers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Eva is telling Star, hey, we don't need two puzzlers on the tribe. We should target one of them first. And immediately Star takes this info to Thomas and Bianca and is like, guess who wants to get one of you out? And they're like, okay, we need to work together and get Eva out right now.
If you really think about it, this was Star's Genevieve episode.
Yes.
I saw somebody say on Twitter, how we say somebody has a purple edit. That adding to the Survivor lexicon a Genevieve episode.
I love that.
That's gonna be a new like thing every season.
Like, this is where it turns around for you.
It was a really redeeming episode for Star. She was very clearly on the bottom last episode, and she has easily put herself into a good standing on this tribe.
Yeah. And even though, like, Eva should not have said that.
Yeah.
Why would you target anyone for no reason?
Right.
Like, obviously, to the person that you're talking to is on the bottom, very obviously, they can now have a lot of
Right.
valuable information.
Which is so interesting. And I don't, obviously, she didn't think about that. Like, but the thing is Eva doesn't really understand the extent of Star's relationship with these people, because
Yeah.
Eva's the only person, like, she was told everything
Yeah.
by other people. So Eva doesn't know that Star has a preference on working with Thomas and Bianca. Like,
Yeah.
I guess Star went to Joe but like, Star has her own thing going on, and I think Eva's perception of Star is probably that she remains on the bottom, and she's just doing what she's told. Like,
she's just trying to get info and, like, start a relationship with Star.
right.
But in doing so, maybe let's not target people.
Star already has an opinion about you.
Yeah.
But great. I loved this for Star. It made me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that she's building more trust. Because if you think about it, like, Star told these people about her idol, and I think that should show that Star trusts you. And now we see a confessional from Bianca, I believe, or Thomas, that now, like, you really know that Star wants to work with you. Like, that wasn't just a layup. Like, she really has interest in building a game.
Basketball.
She is really interested in building a relationship with you.
Yeah, totally.
Like, wants to work with you. And she doesn't have anybody else. That's so good for Thomas and Bianca.
And the seeds were already planted against Eva earlier at the bonfire
Right.
when, she gave the gift to Joe. So,
Right.
yeah. Well, let's get to this challenge.
I really love if any of these tribes went to tribal. Like, I just want to see their dynamics.
Yeah. I'm so, like, not to jump ahead, but I'm so sick of this one team losing every single time. Like, yes, it's juicy on that tribe, but, like, let's get more people in the mix.
Like, what happens when we lose all the juicy people? Then what?
Exactly. Ugh, okay. But I have to say, this challenge, I love a good blindfolded challenge. I think they're so funny. So, one person is the caller, and the rest of the tribe is blindfolded. The caller has to verbally, from a distance on this, like, riser thing, verbally guide them to keys that they have to collect to then unlock a slide puzzle. And the person doing the puzzle is still blindfolded, and the caller is, again, verbally instructing them on what pieces to move. And I just love watching the callers fighting for their lives up there and the blindfolded people ramming into things. I think it's fun to watch.
It is fun. I always love back to Survivor 42 with Lydia Chlamydia being the yeller and her
Yeah.
pointing and said, "You two bitches, come here now."
I love it. And the reward is a tarp and hammocks for first place and a single smaller tarp for second place. It was very funny. Immediately, Joe takes off running in the correct direction to the correct place. Which, I feel like he was really onto something with sort of studying where he needs to go immediately, like
Yeah.
from the jump.
Yeah.
And Logie ultimately comes in first, Siva in second, and Vula is going to tribal again.
I do think Vula had a good comeback at the slide puzzle. Like, I'm guessing the edit probably showed it closer than it actually was, but it seemed like they caught up. There was one point during the challenge where Justin and Say were going to the far out key, and Mary just sort of like wandered that direction. But
Yeah.
then Mary had to come back with them anyway. So I was like, Cedric, why didn't you just leave me? Unless it's like having 3 people look for the keys better than just 2 people, which I guess, but. I was like, why did you have Mary wander all the way back out there
Yeah.
instead of just leave her there?
Communication on that tribe is excellent, specifically
Yeah,
from Cedric.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, after this, Jeff tells them that someone from each tribe gets to go on a journey. Oh, this part made me mad. I kind of forgot about the journey until now. Bianca goes from Logie, and then they pick Justin from Vula and Camilla from Siva to go as well. Okay, back at Vula. Mary's plan. I'm obsessed with this. Mary's plan is to now pretend that she's found an idol to get in everyone's heads and make them think that she found something. So she just goes for a swim. And her plans for the rest of the day are to chill out and enjoy.
Be as cool as a cucumber. My favorite thing is Mary says that independently in her own confessional. She's like, I'm going to be as cool as a cucumber today. Like, I just need to chill. And then it cuts to Say, and Say's like, why is she being as cool as a cucumber right now?
Yeah.
I was like, what are the odds they both said that to describe the situation? It was so, I was like, oh my God, this is perfect.
I love it because not only does then Mary just genuinely get a chill day on a beach in Fiji, which looks like a dream, Say immediately buys into it.
Oh
Sold.
my God,
She's like, there is
love
no way she could just be chilling there, not doing anything to save herself.
Which again, like, I know obviously like Mary played Say, but ultimately I'm like, Say isn't wrong. Like, if
No.
like I feel like if I was in the situation, I would be a little delusional about it, and I would be like, Say, I would be like, it doesn't make sense for her to be so calm right now. It doesn't.
Yeah. But
She should be scrambling.
this just goes back to that very first tribal where they're arguing about how each other are playing. Where Say is like, you need to be doing 110% at all times. And Mary and Stephanie were like, well, sometimes like not doing all of that is still playing the game. Like we're just playing it differently. And guess what? It works.
So well.
Yeah, there is no right way to play Survivor, as we have seen, specifically from this. So Cedric, though, is not buying into the Mary has an idol or something front. And he also isn't cool with the idea of writing down Justin's name tonight because Say wants to split the vote.
To be
Mary.
safe.
Yes, to be safe. And Cedric, what are you doing all day?
Right.
Mary's chilling. Say is spiraling. What are you sort of doing?
Cedric's waiting for his best buddy to come back from.
He's like, guys, we can't do anything until we can't have any conversations until Pizza gets back.
Right. My BFFL.
Yeah.
My BBLFFL.
Well, different kind of doctor.
I am so interested by the dynamics on this tribe. And now if you think of, like, again, to jump ahead, it's just the 3 of those people. Like, what a weird group of people to just be sitting on an island together. Like, it was a really interesting afternoon. I had a lot of fun watching it. Their dynamic was very fun.
So good. Well, let's get to this.
It's giving very Girl So Confusing.
Very Girl So Confusing.
Like last season, it was Rachel and Genevieve, but this time it's literally like Brat Green from Say and Mary.
Yeah.
Like, it is so confusing.
Girl, it's so confusing. Let's get to this journey that I hated, frankly. So once again, they have no time to get to know each other and have to split up and go their separate ways. Each person has to roll 7 dice, and they can land on a flame or a skull or just nothing and roll again. And if they get 4 flames first, they get an extra vote. But if they get to 4 skulls first, they lose their vote at the next tribal. So Camilla gets the extra vote. Shout out Camilla.
Camilla!
But Bianca and Justin lose their votes. And this is just so messed up that Justin, anyone from Vula specifically, had to go on this journey. Because he is now going into a tribal with only 4 people not having a vote. Like, are you actually joking?
I don't love, like, ultimately, like, not being able to vote is terrible. I feel like one of my windows is open. I feel like outside is so loud right now. Girl, a train is about to hit my house.
Is the window open?
I don't know. I don't think so. So here's the tea about my opinion on this. I don't like not being able to vote. I think ultimately, especially when we're down to 4 people in a tribe, like you just said, it doesn't make it fun to watch. Ultimately, like, entertainment-wise, it made it worth it. This episode, the entertainment factor well gave what it needed to be. But strategically, game sense, I'm like, this isn't fun to watch. Somebody doesn't have any power at the Final Four. I think the worst part about everything, I think it could have been justified if they were given the option
to do it or
go.
not.
Yeah. Well, specifically to go on a journey. I think it's messed up that they didn't get to pick who went. Like, they didn't get to, like, I think in a sense, ultimately, yes, they should have been given an opportunity to risk their vote then and there. Like, it shouldn't have been.
Because it's a gamble. Like,
right.
They should have had the choice to gamble or not.
And I think that starts with deciding whether or not you want to go on the journey in the first place. And I think making it one tribe's decision, like, they don't get to, you and your tribe doesn't get to pick who goes, and then on top of that, not getting to pick whether you play or not is messed up. I think that if Justin had himself been like, I want to go, and then they all picked Justin to go, do I think it's a little bit more justified? Yes, because you chose the risk of going on the journey not knowing what the journey was going to be, but he ultimately didn't get to pick whether or not he went, and then he didn't get to pick whether or not he played, which I think is just on top of itself terrible.
That would be an interesting thing if they did a season, or just, like, at one point made it a journey optional. Like,
right,
you decide if you want someone to go on it or not. And, like, would anyone choose to go on that? Like, who knows?
Who knows? So. Some people would. Some people really love the risk of it. But I'm like, when you're down to 4 people on a tribe.
No. It's so messed up, actually. Specifically for Justin. And Bianca, too. Like, now they're going to go into the next... They're shifting tribes.
Right.
And, like, whatever happens, she's not going to have a vote. Ugh, dumb. Okay, we go to Siva. And Camilla decided to be honest and tells her tribe about the extra vote that she won after Mitch sort of set this precedent for telling the truth about what happens on a journey.
Girl, I think you're stupid. I think you're fat. I think you're ugly. I think you're stupid.
Yeah.
It's just my opinion. No, Camilla, I don't think you're any of those things. I do think it's dumb, though. I'm like, why are we sharing about our advantages? It brings you no benefit.
No.
I don't think people inherently trust you more because you were honest about your advantage.
Yeah. But what's also messy about this is, like, they are about... I think they should, assume at this point that if there's going to be a tribe with half the amount of people, that some sort of tribe shakeup is going to happen, that people are going to be comparing stories about what you do tell them, though.
Okay,
so
that's my thing about all of this. Why the fuck did you lie about what you just did?
Yeah.
Because once Camilla well, I guess not Justin, but once Camilla said, I guess it's her story against yours, but Camilla didn't Camilla told the 100% truth to her tribe. That's six people who, they're gonna, like, the 5 people on Camilla's tribe are gonna believe Camilla before they're gonna believe Bianca, right?
Right. So
that's 6 people that are automatically gonna be like, that's not what, and that's not the truth.
Yeah. I actually did invite you to my party.
I did invite you to my party, and you did it at my birthday dinner.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, let's go to Logie. Bianca tells them that she didn't risk her vote and that it was some sort of like sweat versus savvy challenge thing, but that they had the option to play or not, and so she says she didn't. And then in private, she tells Thomas the truth and that she lost her vote, which he eats up because he's like, I didn't tell the truth. No one knows what I have, but now you're sort of telling me the truth. I love that for me.
I love their interaction together in the forest, where she's like, it was a game of dice, and he was like, girl, gays and their girls, I love that talking. She said it is a game of dice, and he was like, dice, and she was like, dice. He was like, I don't get it, and she was like, girl, game of dice. It was luck.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about, sorry, not to jump back to the challenge. Well, I guess we haven't talked about Justin's response. Why Justin talking about all this about gambling? He was like, I love horse racing. I love the slot machine. He says, I'm not a gambler, but I do like horse racing. I'm like, baby, I think that makes you a gambler. I don't know.
Don't put him and Tiffany in a room together.
Exactly, girl. It's game over. They're gonna find something to bet on.
He had to go out now before there's even a possibility of an auction.
Right. That would have been game over. He would have brought real money. He money he brought in his luggage. He pulled that out. He said, you know what? I'm a betting man. I am a betting man.
Yeah. Well, at Vula, Justin tells them a different lie. This one was more elaborate.
It was so elaborate. I'm like, you're making this so much more complicated than it needs to be.
He even says in a confessional, he's like, I don't even remember what I told them. But he told them that it was a dice roll for comfort, shelter, food, or nothing, and that he will find out tomorrow what he got. And he decides to keep it from them that he lost his vote. But that's sort of his plan. Like, what?
And then he kept going, and he was like, one of them was a red question mark, and one was a white question mark. And whatever one you got first, you get tomorrow. And I was like, girl, you gave them like 4 options about what the reward could be. And I'm like, how does it make sense that now that it's either a red or a white question mark? Like, what?
You know what? But he was so confused in his delivery that how can they even ask questions?
No,
They're too confused to ask. For clarification.
me after he says that, I'm like, I'm gonna need you to retell that story one more time just to figure out where the plot holes are.
I also thought it was interesting. He says that he decided to not tell Cedric the truth because Cedric isn't great at gameplay and gets flustered. Foreshadowing what happens. Like, yeah, exactly. You can't really tell this guy anything. He does not know what to do with any sort of information that he comes across. So, Cedric then tells Justin about the plans for tonight. He says that they need to vote for Say, and that Say will likely vote for Justin. Because there's so much confusion about Mary at this point.
Yeah.
Then...
Which is so good, so juicy.
So good. She did so well. Then Say, Cedric, and Justin all say that they will vote for Mary tonight, but, maybe split it somehow because Say is still hung up on Mary having an idol or something up her sleeve. Say and Mary are then talking, and Say is like, why are you so chill? Like, it is really just eating at her all day. You can see it. And Mary's like, hey, when it's time for you to go, sometimes it's time for you to go.
Say's like, do you really think you're going tonight? And Mary was like, whatever happens, happens.
Mary is fully committed to the bit at this point, and I'm just eating it up.
I love another one of my favorite Survivor on Twitter things this week is everybody keeps posting pictures of her like chilling and relaxing. Yeah. And the captions are like, if I send you this picture, that means I'm committing to the bit, by the way.
I love that.
So good. It was just a messy afternoon for them, for that tribe. I feel
not Mary though.
If I was just not Mary, yeah, y'all be safe, not Mary though. If I was Justin, I feel like hearing from Cedric that Say is throwing his name out as a potential decoy vote, like that immediately I would have been like, okay, we need to figure something else out because I don't have a vote tonight.
Yeah.
Like, Justin is too chill at the fact that he doesn't have a vote and could possibly be going home.
He sees Mary chilling on the beach and he's like, you know what? I'm actually
He says,
fine.
hey, if you can't beat him, join him.
Join him. Yeah. Yeah. So in a confessional, Cedric says that with how messy things are, it could really all come down to Justin's vote tonight. Which I also love.
I'm like, why would...
And that's, like, that's what we go into tribal with. It could really all come down to Justin's vote tonight.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm sure Cedric, obviously we see Cedric was this close to voting out Say, right? Well, I mean, he does it twice, but like actually like getting her out. But I'm saying, like, imagine pre-tribal, had Cedric known that Justin doesn't have a vote, the amount of work Cedric would have done to make sure Justin stayed. Like the actual like foundation he could have built, either flip Mary and been like, Mary, we need to vote Say out, or like some like Cedric could have gone up to Mary and been like, Mary, we think you have the idol. We will vote with you. We will vote. So I don't think that's a great strategic move. But I'm like, that's another option as a way to keep Justin in without.
Anything with actual information about, like, who, you know, Justin's vote. I also think, like, this might work in an alliance with, like, more people sort of not telling them about your vote. Where there's more fluctuation in things. But when you know that there are only... that means 3 other people who are eligible to vote tonight. You kind of need to know those numbers. Like, that is a, you need quarter to know of every percentage.
25%. That's where my gas tank was at last night. And it didn't work. Keep your gas tanks full, everybody. The T is that you need to know where every single vote is. Like, at that point, and it should be easy, really, to piece it out together. Because if you want to do some sort of flip, like, you need at least 2, like, you should be able to know solidly going in where everybody's heads are at. Yeah.
And also, if Cedric knows that Justin doesn't have a vote, then he goes to Mary and is like, Mary, do you want to stay in this game?
Right. Like, vote for Say with me. Obviously she does. And she would do that.
She would have done that.
I mean, who knows? Like, I mean, there's so many, and then it's like, is Mary actually comfortable enough with Cedric to believe him? Probably not. So then there's so much fluctuation with, like, but then it's like, okay, if Mary plays her shot in the dark, then and Cedric votes Justin, then it's a tie.
Yeah. Or he is, okay, yeah. Let's get into tribal.
Work.
Okay, so they start by talking about not working together as a group, and, you know, the concept of, you know, a tribe comes up, and Mary's like, there's no we, I'm clearly on the bottom. And then Mary and Sarah are like, yeah, we don't like each other, and we absolutely will not work together. And they're like, but we, like, for sure respect each other. Like, it's fun playing against each other, but, like, we do not want to play with each other. And Jeff's like, so yeah, you guys are actually currently on a tribe together, and maybe that's why you're sort of not winning any challenges.
Okay, you are sort of in the tribe portion of this game, where, like, the key is that you need to work together.
Yeah, like, you want to win as a group.
Right.
So when you're...
That's the little wrinkle in their plans.
Exactly. Mary, the whole time, though, is keeping this cool as a cucumber attitude. And she's like, you know, what's going to happen is going to happen. And Say's like, you can't trust anything that comes out of Mary's mouth. And I'm just like, you know, Mary has really done so little to be portrayed as having such, like, a crazy big, like, game strategy personality.
Right.
Like, she can really just sit there and they're like, guys, we can't trust her.
I just don't know where this came from. Like, you guys are the ones that, like, Mary has never done anything to show. I mean, I guess that she, like, voted Say, but it's like,
yeah,
she has never had any power to do anything.
I literally wrote that down. I was like, am I missing something here? Why is Mary so untrustworthy? What has she done?
So untrustworthy. Cedric and Justin lied to Mary.
And Mary lost her one ally at, let's remind ourselves, the first tribal. So last tribal sort of had nothing to do with Mary.
This is 3 tribals in a row where Mary is literally at the bottom of the tribe. Like, she is at the bottom, has no allies, is being set up in a way, like, she's being set up.
I hope
Y'all are
that
gaslighting yourselves to think Mary is this crazy mastermind. And Mary's just like, girl, all I'm doing is surviving. Like, literally.
I hope that next when they switch up tribes, they go into two, it's like I hope it's Cedric and Say who are on the tribe, and then Mary can go do her own thing, and she's like, guys, you will not believe
The last 7 days of my life. You will not believe what's been going on.
guys, it was crazy over there. Yeah, so we get to the votes. Also, I want to say this, I guess, was the longest tribal in Survivor history.
Like, TV wise, the amount of minutes was shown,
No,
or like actually
in real
on the
life,
set?
it was it was like over 2 hours.
Well, because Jeff cut them off at one point and was like, "I've never done this, but we have to wrap up tribal so you guys can vote. Like, I have to
Yeah.
stop mid tribal council so we can just do what we need to do."
Yeah. So Mary plays her shot in the dark, so she doesn't vote. Oh, first of all, the 2 votes were for Mary, and she was safe. I said that's totally out of order. Mary plays her shot in the dark is safe. Both votes were for her, so guess what? They have to revote. And
The gag is that Jeff pulls out the second vote and says, "And the last
enough."
vote
yeah,
is for Mary."
yeah,
Like,
So
he says it he does say it the first time. He says in the final vote,
yeah,
Mary.
Right. And Say is like, guys, I told you. She was planning something. She had something. But I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, the shot in the dark was always a possibility.
I think that she thought it was going to be an idol. Like, because Mary didn't pull out the scroll until she was up at Jeff. So I think Say just thought Mary had an idol. Like, Mary was about to play an idol.
She was saying this after it was read that Mary was safe. She's like, guys, I told you she was planning something. Like, oh my God. But I'm like, you could have planned that. You could have done the exact same thing. So, anyways, why would she not play her shot in the dark? Like,
right.
You should have sort of been counting on that the whole time. But.
Right. I mean, and she was, I feel like Say was trying to, but there was just no motion from Cedric, I feel like.
True. Yeah, so they go to revote, and Mary's just sitting there holding in a laugh the whole time. She is thrilled. Just, I cannot imagine being in that position and it being red safe. Like, you have to feel on top of the world and then watch them go against each other. Like, that is just so fun. So they go to the revote, and at this point, 1 vote is for Justin, and Cedric votes for Say. Okay, guess what? Now they're tied.
I need to sit down with Cedric, and I need to hear the tea on this, because I'm like, in what world did you think that Say didn't have a vote? Like, I don't understand what they didn't go to school for math. Let's just say that they're not teaching doctors math these days, and I'm like, how do we miss the plot for a minute? Like, I was just really confused when the first votes were revealed. I was like, I don't get it.
Well, let's also think about this. So 1 person went on a journey today,
right?
And it was not Say. And Say also, guess what, didn't go on the last journey either. So, who would not have a vote?
I could see the question being maybe Say had found the next Beware advantage and lost her vote.
Lost it.
I could understand maybe that being what he was thinking.
But it's giving very much traitors.
No, I was like,
we have all this
what?
evidence, but we're not gonna go off that. So we vote for Cedric votes for Say, and Say obviously votes for Justin. They go to a revote, and guess what? It's the same thing again.
Well, first Jeff has to reveal that Justin hasn't been voting all night.
Oh yeah, which okay.
Which they were like, what? Obviously this ends up being a big moment for Cedric, like the lie that Justin had a vote.
But it doesn't seem to really cross his mind.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't really seem to affect him at this point. He's just like, yeah, okay.
So then learning that information, what then proceeded to gag me even more?
Him voting for Say again.
Not flipping his vote back. Standing 10 toes down.
Right. So then
Girl,
at this point,
you voted for Say twice? No. Okay. I'm sorry. Finish what you're saying. Finish what you're saying.
no, and it gets so insane. So at this point, it's another tie. So Cedric essentially gets to decide who gets to go home because Say can't vote after this. And if he cannot make a decision, he goes home, which obviously, I mean,
For a minute, I thought he was going to do it. I thought he was just going to say, I can't choose between these people. I'm going to go home.
right. So at this point, let's keep in mind he has voted for Say twice now, even after learning about the Justin situation. And Say is fighting for her life at this point when she gets a chance to talk and is like, why would you keep Justin in the game? He didn't tell you about him not having a vote tonight. Why would you do that? Like, I will work with you, blah, blah, blah. Literally fighting.
Say just, I'm like, this is who I want on Survivor.
This is the passion.
I want somebody, this is the passion. Justin had no passion.
No.
Say wanted it so bad, was so desperate to stay in the game. And I love that. I am obsessed with that.
Yes. And, like, also keeping in mind that it was, like, the longest tribal. Like, at this point, it was over 2 hours. But I'm also, people are like, oh, well, maybe that's why Justin was just like, I don't know. Vote, do what you want. But I'm like, it is still a game for $1 million. Like, you should still be fighting tooth and nail to the end, like Say was. Like, Say, I'm so glad, like, really emotionally kind of, like, got into Cedric's head.
Justin just had no. And I feel like he could have easily talked himself out of the situation. Like, I feel like he easily could have been like, I'm so sorry I didn't share with you. It was not meant to be a, like, hurtful or deceitful lie. Like, it wasn't out of malice. It was just out of pure survival instinct. I felt like I had to do this because XYZ. Like, I think if he had laid it out, the full picture, if he had just talked it out loud, I think Cedric could have justified keeping Justin in the game.
Totally. And you go.
I was gonna say, but there was just nothing
Literally
from
nothing.
Justin. Justin's like, do whatever your heart says, and then Say is over here pleading for her life.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally life or death. She was just like, I've never lied to you. I've always wanted to work with you. I've told you every single thing, every conversation I've had with any person here. I've had no interests in working with anybody else other than you. Like, you are the reason for the season.
Well, let's just get into this last part. So, the train said, hurry this up.
The window has to be open, but I don't think a window is open. It might be, but anyway, I don't know. Guys, I think the train is coming into my house.
So, right. At this point, after, we're about to get Cedric's decision, I start typing. Obviously, he picks Say to go home because he's voted for her twice now. Why would you not do that? Guess what? I had to go ahead and delete that because he then turns to Mary and is like, I've made a decision with a stipulation.
Sorry, but that's kind of iconic.
He said, you two have to work together. Have to work together. Drop the drama and be a team.
Drop the 4, keep the 8 because Say and Mary ate that.
Did you not hear them earlier? This tribe will say, we will not work together. We will not do it.
Cedric, do you think you're like Jesus or something? Like, do you like? What do you think you are on the same level? You're not better than them.
No.
Maybe they're gonna vote your ass out next episode. Then what?
Yeah, they're gonna team up against
you.
You better hope there's a tribe swap because
we know damn well you're not gonna be doing any idol looking. So like, you are screwed. Why would you do that?
To the person who is most likely to hold a grudge against you.
Most likely. Somebody, let's flashback to last episode, is emotional. Holds grudges.
Yeah. You're going to vote for her not once, but twice.
Twice is crazy work.
After learning, for sure confirmed, that it is Say who's the only other person voting who cannot vote for herself. Duh. I just need to have a conversation with this man because I don't want him as frankly, I don't want him as my doctor if these are the kind of decisions he's making.
He knows something that we don't. Trust and believe, Cedric knows something we don't because he, like,
I was
how do you think that's gonna work?
How do
like,
you justify this genuinely?
No,
Because you can't make these two people work together. They can agree to something right now and then get to camp and be like, yeah, we still hate each other, but now we just want to get you
happens
out.
on Survivor all the time. Just
Yeah.
saving face so you can survive another day.
Like, why would Say specifically not agree to work with Mary at this point? Like, you think
she has nothing,
the person
like,
who
literally
just begged for her life is not gonna like take the first thing you say and be like, sure, I'll do it.
Mary has nothing to lose. Mary's still on the bottom of the tribe.
Mary's also, mind you, safe and completely out of this. Mary doesn't have to do anything.
So true. She literally is able to just blink her eyelashes and be okay forever.
Yeah.
Why would Say want to work with you ever again?
No.
You were this close to choosing somebody who lied to you over somebody who's been 100% honest with you.
And, like, what was he trying to get out of voting for Say a second time?
Right.
What did he think was going to happen?
Did he think, like, Say obviously couldn't vote for herself.
She couldn't vote for anyone else but Justin.
Cedric voted for every single member of his tribe this episode. Every single member of his tribe. That's never happened before. That's actually that's insane.
Clinical.
Mother, what you think you're gonna get away? You think tomorrow you're gonna wake up and be like, brand new day in Fiji, I'm so excited.
Like, imagine he kept Justin.
If it ain't the repercussions of your own actions.
Exactly. Imagine if he kept Justin. Justin would have been like, thank you for that. Listen, like, let me explain myself, but we're chill. Let's just carry on.
Literally.
What did he think?
And then you two can work together, vote Mary out.
Yeah.
And then be fine forever. Like, I'm like,
we're off into the sunset together. If that's
literally, it makes. I'm like, this is so confusing. Girl, so confusing.
So confusing. Yeah. That wraps up this tribal.
Crazy tribal. I've never there's never been a tribal council like it.
No, this was one of those times where I'm so sad that I'm so glad we have the podcast to talk about it, but I'm so bummed that we were not in the room with each other at that point because I didn't know what to do with myself. Like, how can you make this decision? I literally typed, obviously he votes for Say and she goes home. I literally typed that out because how could that not have been the outcome after this?
I just don't.
But
I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm excited because it's so messy.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what the next step is for everybody involved.
Same. But yeah, this wraps up this episode of Making Fire Podcast.
It's so confusing sometimes to be a girl.
Girl. Anyways, thank you for
That
watching.
song is kind of about us if you think about it.
Is it? I can't tell if you like me. Sometimes I think you might hate me. Sometimes I think I may hate you. Maybe you just want to be me.
I love when that song plays. I love going up to whoever and I just say, the song is kind of about us if you think about it. And every single time without it, they go, you think so? And I'm like, no, I don't. No. I just think it's funny to say that.
Wow. Thank you again. Thank you to the audience for watching this episode with us. Be sure to like, comment. What should they comment?
Tell us what your favorite song off of Bra is.
Right. And be sure to smash that subscribe button.
Right.
And also follow us on Instagram and TikTok. TikTok especially is so fun these days. And that wraps it up.
Slay.
Do you I just thought of this. Do you maybe have 5 more moments that are more exciting than a final tribal reveal in Fiji?
Of course I do.
I was gonna say you don't have to, but
5 moments. Oh my God, what to
while
talk
you
about?
think about that,
No, I'm ready.
you're ready. Okay.
I think obviously, what's more exciting is when Mike Scoopin fell into the fire in Survivor Australia.
Yeah.
Loved that. Wish he sort of stayed in the fire at this point. Do you know the tea about Mike Scoopin?
Yeah.
Crazy work.
Yeah.
Other things that are crazy kooky fun.
Can we just say this tribal?
This tribal. So true. We'll take it back to Survivor 42 when the Green Tribe, when it's like Mike, Marianne, Jenny. Was Marianne on Marianne wasn't on the Green Tribe. That when the Green Tribe went to Tribal Council and what was his name? That flipped on Jenny. They almost went to a tie vote.
Oh, yes.
And they didn't because what's his name flipped? Dylan. I feel like it was a D name. I can't remember. So crazy. In Survivor Fiji, when Yowman lets Dreams win the challenge, because Dreams wants the car, and then the thing is that Dreams wasn't supposed to vote Yowman out, but then Dreams votes Yowman out instead because he's like, "Fuck you," and then the fifth obvious most crazy, much more exciting moment than the live tribal council at Fiji would be the live one in Survivor Samoa when everybody thought Russell was gonna win, but then Natalie White won heavy-handed and she was gagged and she was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just beat Russell Hantz." And in that moment, Russell Hantz knew because he had already filmed Heroes vs. Villains that he had lost both seasons because he knew he lost Heroes vs. Villains. That's so exciting. Like, just the drama of all that. So good.
Love. Well, thank you for that.
You're so welcome.
And yeah. See you next time.
Smooches.